Hey Joel,
Hi Yusuf, how are you doing today?
the truth is I've invested 10 grand into this company, this business, and
What is
I've
this
got
business?
well, the thing is I've got mixed feelings about whether it's working out or not. And I mean I'll tell you in a minute, but the thing is that I feel this is the difference between entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship. You know, when you're an intrapreneur, I don't know if you've heard
I
of
haven't.
that.
What is an entrepreneur? Because I haven't heard what it
It's
means.
when you're already an employee of a big company, but you're not necessarily the CEO or a big manager, but you have the task of innovating some new product.
Right.
You know, you're working like an entrepreneur, like setting up a new business, but you're not taking on all of the risks, you know, the financial risks, and you also have a team, you know, to help you out with the innovation. Maybe you came up with this new product yourself.
Yeah.
But you're doing that within the confines, the security of a big company. So if anything goes wrong, you know, you're not gonna lose out financially. You know, you've also got supervisors who can tell you if it's not working out, you know what, maybe we should pull the plug.
Yeah.
But when you're an entrepreneur, you're kind of on your own, and you have to figure out for yourself whether something's working out or not. And when you've already invested so much into something, there's the whole sunk cost fallacy of, God, you know, I've put all this time and money and effort into something. If I throw it away now, it's just going to be like it never existed, or gone to waste,
for nothing.
Yeah,
really.
like as if it was for nothing. So, is it worth continuing and seeing maybe it will get better in the future? You know?
I would look at the track record of the company, because if there has been money coming in, that is proven it means that there is potential there, that this company can grow, it can make more money if it's already bringing in clients, if it's already making money, even if it's still in the red, it's still worth pursuing, I think.
Yeah.
If there was no customers whatsoever, then yeah, I would say maybe not give up, but move on to something else. But if there's still potential, if there's still people interested, then go for it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, and I mean, you asked me what company is it? Well, I mean, it's the one that we're doing together, really, which is this building that we're recording from.
Yeah.
The NotbadWorld coworking space in Mijas, Malaga, in Spain. Beautiful outside. We've just been outside.
Yeah.
Really sunny, and it's
a beautiful day.
It's just a beautiful day. I mean, we're just chilling outside in the hot sun.
Yeah, we're now stuck inside.
Yeah, it's a bit cooler in here,
Yeah.
which is nice. You know, it's a nice difference, but the thing is that we have a lot of offices in this building, and half of them are rented out, and half of them are not rented out. And you know, in order for this building to be a viable business, we should be renting, if not all, but at least 90%. You know, constantly. But what's been happening is that, you know, we have customers that stay. We have some customers that have been here for nearly a year, and some stay for a month or 2 months, and then they leave, and then we have to sell those spaces again to other customers.
It's usually a mad scramble to find.
Yeah, especially with the lack of notice as well. Because sometimes.
So some people just because I think it's the way our contract is set up. How it's so we've made it so flexible that it can sometimes backfire on us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But you know that's I think one of the downsides of setting up a business when there's already competition out there. You have to undercut. You have to better the services and lower the prices. And
the flexibility that you were saying. Yeah. You know that's
you know, for people to be interested, you need to offer what the competition is offering and then some.
And what is this flexibility that we're offering on the contract?
Well, you know,
I know what it is. I just want I want to hear it from you.
Well, first of all, it's the 24/7 access to the premises. Yeah. Not many co-working spaces do that. Most, I would say 99% do from like 9 to 6 and maybe the odd weekend. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Then, you know, it's like the all-inclusive package of when you know, once you sign up, you get all the offerings of the building is included: printer, scanner, projector.
And we don't offer deposit.
Yeah, we don't. There's no deposit either, which is usually more attractive. It's a monthly contract, so people aren't tied down to anything. So that gives the client the peace of mind of knowing if something happens and they can't pay for next month, that isn't a problem.
But that's the thing that probably backfires on us, like you were saying.
Oh yeah,
we don't have a deposit, and the what's the notice period that we've got?
10 days.
Yeah, 10 days. Yeah, and
some people, most people do give us the 10 days notice, but some just say, "Oh, by the way, I'm leaving tomorrow."
Tomorrow, yeah.
And it's like, well, that doesn't help.
Yeah. And then that space that they were using and renting out is probably going to be empty for at least another maybe week or 2 weeks, or could be even a month. I mean, sometimes it's been 2 months, where
but I think that's
the
problem. It's office space and co-working is such a niche market as well.
Do you think so, really? Is it a niche market? I mean,
I think
everyone
is split. With offices, there's a certain, not everybody's looking for an office. It's not like a product where that the masses want. It's a very specific product that only certain people will want. Not everybody needs or wants an office.
But by that you mean entrepreneurs and small businesses?
Yeah, by that, well, not just, I mean people in general. It's not like you go to the supermarket and they have some, I don't know, like a vacuum cleaner for example. It's a product with a mass appeal. Or even certain services, they have mass appeal. An office space doesn't have that mass appeal to everyone, because not everyone needs an office. And with co-working as well, it's the same thing. On top of that, with co-working, it's a very hit and miss service, because a lot of co-workers are people that will be in the area on a temporary basis as well. Most of our co-workers have been here because they've been traveling, or they've been on an extended holiday where they've needed a place to work for a month or two. So that's the issue with co-working, I think.
Well, there are co-workers. There are two types of customers that we have, really. There are co-workers, and then there are office space users. So the difference, I think we discovered recently, haven't we, the difference, which is that the location that we're in is kind of just on the outskirts of the city,
town.
The town, and so you really need a car to get here. I mean, there's loads of parking space outside, and generally everyone who's renting out an office here has a car. Yeah, but the co-workers haven't. Have they? Yeah,
most co-workers don't have a car. They want something ultra local, like within 10 minutes walking distance, and we're not exactly 10 minutes walking distance from most locations. So that's the problem with co-working, and unless you have a car, it's a bit difficult.
Yeah, if we were centrally based, if we were near the train station,
if we were centrally based, it'd be a lot different. I think we would have pretty much a full house in co-working.
Yeah, which is why when we were talking last week, and we decided it's probably best if we focus more on renting out offices. Yeah. Just offices.
Just purely office space.
Offices.
I would say, however, to keep the co-working.
Yeah, keep some co.
Some going just in case. Yeah. It's there if someone wants it. If not, that's also fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where we're at in the entrepreneurial world, setting up a business.
Well, this is the thing, what do you think about what I was saying? I mean, you said if there's income coming in, which there is. I mean, it's the rent is being paid for, the bills are being paid for.
Yeah, it's
just about
breaking even.
Yeah.
But you have to look at it in the sense that most new businesses are in the red for the first 2 years of starting up. So it's until after 2 years that they start making a profit, usually. So I think, considering that it's only been running for about a year and we are already breaking even, just about. I think that's pretty good when you put it into perspective like that.
Actually, well, I mean, that happened within the first 7 or 8 months, actually, or 7 or 8 months. Which we did recognise at the time that was an achievement. Although the growth since then has been quite stagnant. There's not been much growth since that point. It's been it reached the point of breaking even, and then it went up a bit, and then it went down a bit, and it kind of hovered around breaking even a bit less. So we still have to invest our own money, and then went up again, and now it's just been stagnant again. So it's there's a constant, customers coming in, and then you don't know when they're going to leave, if they're going to leave. Some stay a long time, some go within a month, leave a day's notice, and then you've got an almost kind of panicky kind of way of sales,
that mad scramble of we need to find someone for this office fast.
But then again, the thing is, maybe we should really be selling constantly all the time, which is what we're doing, although you've probably noticed there's definitely a surge in sales activity between our whole team. I mean, there are 3 of us, and we definitely do a lot more when we know that someone's leaving or someone's left.
It's I think the could you say it's not procrastination, but it's like that sense of security that once everything's rented out, it's like, we don't really need to work as much because the money's coming in. But once someone leaves, it's like, now we have to get our asses into gear and start finding new clients.
We probably have to fight that, because I think that's definitely something. When you've got money coming in and it's covering all of your expenses, you get this secure feeling, like you said, and you kind of
you let your guard down.
You let your guard down. You slow down a little bit. Don't necessarily sell as much as you were before. Because you have that sense of security, and you might start focusing on other things, and maybe we should be fighting against that, really. And
and I think we shouldn't just be, because at the moment it's like our goals are just to pay the bills, and that's not
it's not good enough.
It's not good enough.
No.
We should be making a decent profit. This business should be paying each of our wages and then some, ideally. But that's that.
And we do want to expand as well. We do have another few buildings, around the area, or nationally. I mean, it's good to have a big goal like that. Yet still every month we still have that mentality of, do we have enough to pay? To pay the expenses for this month. So it's that's something that needs to be changed. And, I'm just wondering, most entrepreneurs, if not all, are going through this same kind of thing, if they the
mentality of, is it worth it? Is it worth pursuing this if it's just about breaking even?
Especially when if you're burning through your own personal money, you're investing your own money. Which when we're not investing our own money and the business is actually paying for itself, it feels really good. It feels great. It feels like, you've actually built a business that's working, because it's paying for itself at least. But then there comes a month or 2 months or 3 months when you actually have to dip into your own bank account just to cover a few, not too much necessarily, but you
like a fraction of the electricity bill.
Exactly. And then you feel like, is this? You start to feel it again, that personal sort of sacrifice, kind of
that dread seeing the numbers in your bank balance go down. It's like
I mean, when you do invest in something, you want to see at least see that money come back soon, or see it being spent on something that's worthwhile. And then when the growth is kind of stagnant and not happening, then you wonder, okay, is the growth going to happen soon? What needs to be done?
I think that mentality is flawed. Because it sounds to me as if you're not actually going for it. You have to want it so bad. You have to hustle. Do as much as you can to get new clients, get people through the door. It's not about looking at the bank balance and thinking, well, hopefully this is going to go better soon. It's really getting out there and changing that mindset of waiting for things to come to you, because that's not really how life works. You have to really go out there and get it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely.
But I think that's why I think being an entrepreneur is so hard, because it's when things go bad, it's so easy to knock you off your game.
Yeah,
I found in the recent months, my mindset has been pretty bad. I haven't had the drive to fulfill my goals, and there's so many goals I want to fulfill, but because I don't have that drive, because
I know what you mean. Yeah,
things are going bad, or aren't going the way I would like them to. That.
Yeah, it's not really bad. I mean, it's like you say, they're not necessarily going the way you want them to, and
yeah, it's not necessarily bad per se, but because things aren't going better than what I would like or what we would like, it's like, what's the point?
That's the big question.
That's the biggest question the three of us have had. What's the point? We've gone recently to the stage of that feeling of, this isn't working, why are we still doing this?
Yeah.
But I think that's the biggest that if we keep thinking like that is going to be our downfall. We have to really change our mindset and think, no, this is working. We have had so many clients come through the door. This has been paying for itself pretty much for the last year. This has potential. We can do this. We can grow. And I think it's sitting down, having a decent talk, changing our mindset, and working as a team, not just, one person does one thing, the other person does another thing when they feel like it. I think another thing is that there's no structure in what we're doing anymore. There's no
even though there are three of us and we're a team, that we don't really have a lead or a leadership or anything. It's just kind of, it's like we're all making decisions together, which I guess it might be good in a way and democratic, but it's not even that, is it?
I wouldn't even say we're making decisions together. We're just kind of
doing things whenever we want.
We're kind of doing things whenever we want, thinking, well, I'm going to do this because maybe it'll work, but I think that recently there's been a bit of lack of communication, and communication is if you're setting up an entrepreneurial venture with more than one person, communication is key.
Yeah, definitely.
Everybody has to be on the same page at all times, I think, because otherwise it can go downhill really fast. So that's if you are doing something with a friend or a business partner, communication is key. It has to be key. Transparent at all times. I think everybody should know what each other is doing regarding the business.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I mean, if we're a big corporate, then everyone has their own designated roles and responsibilities, and you have the different departments. But when you're a startup or a small team, just starting a new business, I mean, you'll have to pitch into different roles and work together, and there's no you do this, you do this, you do this.
Yeah,
which
it's
is
kind of
what
at the moment.
At
the moment, it's kind of like we've sort of outlined what each of us are going to be doing, but there's no. There's also those grey areas of certain things to where do the three of us do it? Do only two of us do the certain aspects?
Yeah. Like,
how is there's not a clear outline of who does what. There's only a pretty vague outline.
We recently got to the point of when we're talking about, is it worth continuing, or maybe we should quit, or give the landlord notice that we're gonna leave the premises, leave the building. And there was the thought there that if we do stop this, that there might be a regret later on of what could have been had we doubled or tripled or 10 times our efforts,
I think
and stuck it out as you should, in a sense. there was that statistic you said before. There's another one that 90% of businesses fail in the first year.
Yeah, something like that.
I think whether that's true or not, it's probably true.
I imagine so.
Yeah, it makes sense though. Yeah, and we have gone past a year. At the same time, is it wise to stop now when, like you said, money has been coming in?
No.
It has.
I don't think it's wise.
It's
because
not, yeah.
you have to look that we have, I'd say, 60-70% of our offices rented out at this moment in time.
Yeah.
That is a pretty good statistic, considering everything. The place has a lot of more potential. But for 60-70%, that is pretty good. Once we get 2 more offices rented out, I think that will boost morale a lot.
Yeah, it does. I mean, usually when there's a new customer that signs and pays their first month, there's definitely a huge boost in morale.
And a
so
huge
noticeable.
sigh of relief as well.
Yeah. Oh, it's a really good feeling.
Yeah, but that's the...
It's constant up and down,
yeah.
up and down. It's really huge. And this is the thing about the difference between what we're doing, entrepreneurship, and I'm going to ask you actually, do you think this is entrepreneur? I mean, it must be.
Yeah, but the whole definition of entrepreneurship is like setting up your own business. So
taking risks,
setting up your own venture to reap the rewards. So that's what you guys have done. I joined later on. So it's really you guys who are the real entrepreneurs here, because you guys have been taking all the risk. I just came along later and I'm helping out.
Not really. I mean, you joined a bit later. At the same time, you've taken on some risk. You've invested a bit as well.
Yeah.
And you've also, you had a 9-to-5 or a job that you decided to stop doing because you thought it would be better to spend your time on this kind of business.
Because I see potential. I see this working. That's why I've taken that leap of faith in giving up my job to pursue this, to try to get it working.
Yeah, so those are entrepreneurial decisions that you took. So in a sense, I mean, this is definitely entrepreneurship. Yeah,
but I still have a lot to work on, because I think the bane of every entrepreneur is procrastination. And I am a massive procrastinator. There's a really good TEDx video on procrastination.
I'm not sure if I've seen that one. It sounds familiar.
It basically the person that makes an analogy of procrastination of a person in your head sailing, and there's a procrastination monkey that takes over the wheel at times when you need something to get done. And when there's a deadline, I can't remember what it's called, like the deadline monster wakes up, scares the monkey, and then you get back into control. The problem with entrepreneurship, if you're working for yourself, there's no deadlines. You have to control that monkey. There's no deadline to say, okay, I have to get this finished by this time. And that is going to be the hardest thing to overcome and control as an entrepreneur that's starting out. This is something that I'm still working on, struggling with. Which is a problem you don't have as an entrepreneur, because you have supervisors and managers who will tell you, and you have time limits as well.
Deadlines. They will tell you, look, you need to have achieved this by this point. Look, you've been burning too much money. The budget has blown way off. We need to pull the cord. This has to stop. Whatever, if it's not working out, or they'll tell you, this is doing great. We're going to invest a bit more, give you a bit more time to work on it, because it's so the numbers are looking good. But an entrepreneur, you're on your own. Yeah.
Now that's the biggest problem, I think, with being an entrepreneur, that it's all, at the end of the day, it all comes down to you. So if you do not have enough control in your life, in setting
everything.
In setting goals, it's everything. If you can't set achievable goals, or if you can set achievable goals but you can't drive yourself to achieve them, entrepreneurship isn't for you.
Or maybe it is, you just have to work on yourself.
Yeah, maybe it is, but you have to, that before setting off in a venture, I would say, or maybe even doing a venture to test. But you have to, you have to work on yourself first before you can work on a business. Then that's what I'm still learning to do.
Working on yourself by, if you have, let's say, bad habits such as procrastination, would that be a bad habit?
Oh, that's a massive bad habit.
That's a habit, isn't it? Yeah, deal with those. Then there's the whole passion side of things, because I'm not sure about this. Steve Jobs once said that you really need to enjoy what you're doing, because any sane person would just quit after a certain amount of time. If you're doing something that you don't enjoy, you're sane, you're just gonna stop doing it.
Yeah.
But then again, there's another entrepreneur on YouTube. He's called Patrick Bet-David. He runs this valuetainment channel. He says that there's a whole passion myth where if you're starting a business or you're getting into business, you have to think about money first. So if there's a market for you to start a business, or there's somehow you can make money, then you should go for that, regardless of whether you're passionate about it or not, because you're not necessarily going to be passionate about everything. We can't all necessarily all do things that we're passionate about.
Well, I mean,
just be passionate about entrepreneurship. Just be passionate about business itself and making money, not necessarily the actual activity. Maybe in the future, once you've got some experience in doing a few things, then perhaps you can then invest in your own passion and spend time doing that. But when you're starting off, perhaps look at the market first, look at what's needed, where can you create value in society, and do that regardless of whether you enjoy it or not.
But I think I do agree with that, but you also have to think as well, without passion there's a lack of drive. If you're not passionate about the venture you're on, it's going to be harder for you to actually work towards your goals. If you're not passionate about it, you're more inclined to say, well, what's the point? I don't like doing this.
Passionate about what, though? This is why I'm trying to differentiate between being passionate about the activity, or no, not the activity, the type of business that you're setting up. Let's say you're selling, give me a product.
Well, like it.
Selling clothes, let's say. Okay, if you're not passionate about fashion, maybe you're still passionate about business and selling. You might be passionate about talking to customers and doing sales and online sales.
Yeah.
Then that's probably good enough. You don't necessarily need to be passionate about fashion to actually.
I guess it's what, at the end of the day, what you want. Do you want to make money, or do you want to be happy? Personally, I would be better off being happy with less money than having.
Well, both really. I mean, thing is.
I mean, I think that there's a sweet spot, of money and happiness. I saw a really cool diagram. It has a name, a Japanese name, where there's three things. I'm trying to remember, but it was like money, happiness, and something else. And in the middle, and I think it was money, happiness, and passion. And in the middle, that was the sweet spot everybody should aspire to achieve. Do something that makes money, that makes you happy and fulfilled, and something that you are passionate about.
For a lot of people, that's probably having a job. Having a job that they.
Oh yeah, for a lot of people, because with a job, with a 9 to 5, you don't have to stress about. The only thing you have to worry about is doing your job. There's nothing else you have to worry about. With being an entrepreneur, you're on your own. You are liable for everything.
Yeah.
With a job, if you're only liable for your mistakes. If as an entrepreneur or a business owner, you're liable for your entire brand. If anything goes wrong, you're going to be the person to blame.
I'm still not sure about this whole happiness versus money, or that what you're saying, because I don't believe you can get into business and not be focused on money.
Well, obviously you need to be focused on money. That's the whole point of business.
Yeah.
But I think I think you should set limits, like how far are you willing to go, or how unhappy are you willing to be just to make money. I think that there is a line for each person. Like,
yeah, I get that.
This is doing what I'm doing is making me so unhappy that I'd rather just get a job, or rather do something else, or I'd rather quit than make money doing what I'm doing. So that's what I was trying to get at. That there is a happiness to money ratio or threshold that everybody has. That if you surpass it, there's just no point in carrying on pursuing.
I think we should post links to these two clips. We'll do in a description where we're going to post this podcast or the video on YouTube. The one of the Steve Jobs giving that talk. He was in an interview where he said that any sane person would quit, and then there's the other one of the Valuetainment, Patrick Bet-David, saying that don't listen too much to all this passion, do your passion, follow your dreams and all that. And it would be great to see comments.
It's two different mindsets or mentalities. One says follow your passion, one says to follow the market. And
two are quite inspirational people, especially the one on the Valuetainment. He says a lot of he's a great teacher and got so many great videos and such great advice. So it's a very there's a split in who's right. Maybe both are right, but what's the real answer?
I think both are right. It's just there's so many different ways of doing one thing. That I think either way is right. It's just the mindset or the way you approach a problem that you have that changes it. I think.
Would you say business is a science or an art? Both.
I think it's a mix of both.
Yeah, there's no real formula
that
you can follow. There's some guidelines where this is a huge. Yeah, I mean, I'm just inclined to say it's just not. There's no science to it at all, is there? Apart from counting maths and counting money and finances and taxes.
No, I think business is a mixture of both art and
luck and just many things.
Luck as well. Yeah. Well, luck
because of timing, timing.
Yeah, I guess it, but I would say less luck. It's more analysis. If you can analyze markets, trends, etc., then you are statistically more likely to. I would say it's more statistics than luck, providing you know what you're doing. Or it's like the whole.
I thought you were going to say more sadistically there.
No, but like for example, the whole fidget spinner craze that happened. Was it like in October of 2017?
Yeah.
That people analysed trends, saw all these videos popping up of people with fidget spinners, and so many people cashed in on that and made millions even, because that wasn't luck. That was pure analysis, analysing trends and the market, and finding a gap where they could make money. So that's not luck. No, luck would be just casually setting up a fidget spinner store and just coinciding with the boom of the fidget spinner. That doesn't happen.
The thing is, though, is that at the time when these fidget spinners were being when the product was being developed and then it was first being sold, do you think that they knew or they could foresee that it would turn into the huge craze that it became, the huge success that it was?
I think crazes just happen. Because
then that must be luck. They must have been lucky in some way then.
I don't.
Or was it was the whole craze manufactured from really great marketing?
I don't think. I think it's more of a snowball effect. Because fidget spinners, as far as I'm aware, were developed long before the craze of 2017.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the whole purpose of them was for people with ADHD,
stress,
autism. It's a stress release tool. It's not technically a toy.
Yeah.
But then one person found it, made a YouTube video on it. Then another person thought, "Wow, these are cool. I'm going to do the same thing," and it just snowballed. That snowball effect, and then everybody wanted one. And I think that's how trends work. It's just a snowball effect. It's not luck. It's just people cotton onto something.
We have to define what luck is here. I mean, luck is something that you're not really in control. Something that happens that you're not in control of, but it happens to you. And if it's a good thing, I guess you would say you're lucky that it's happened to you, but you had no control over it. Yeah. So the those who sell fidget spinners or develop fidget spinners, they were not in control of this. They like you said, they
were in control.
Oh, they were.
Well, people started selling fidget spinners after the boom. They wouldn't have started selling it before because they wouldn't have known. If they did, then yeah, that is luck. But 99.999 of the fidget spinner stores or sales were made after that massive boom. So that's why I don't believe in that there's luck in business.
That makes sense.
So yeah, I think don't rely ever on luck in business. It's purely.
It can make you lazy as well.
It can make you lazy.
You're passive. You're not really.
Yeah.
You're not taking action or going after what you want to achieve. So hopefully this will happen.
Yeah. There's no such thing as passiveness in business. You hear so much about passive income.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I want passive.
Everybody wants passive income, but it's like there's this whole thing that passive income is just money falling from the sky or growing from trees, but
you don't have to do anything to get passive income.
Or you do a tiny bit of work now and then reap the rewards for years to come. But it doesn't work like that. You have to work consistently for a long time, and you have to make a lot of sacrifices before you can achieve that quote-unquote passive income.
Even if it's writing a book that will generate your passive income for many years to come, to actually get to the point of having written the book and published it, you probably need to go through many years of writing many books and failing and writing again and taking many years just to even write one book, gathering all of your thoughts and ideas and putting them together. That takes a lot of time. And so there's no here's a passive income, just it doesn't fall out of the sky.
It doesn't work like that. Passive income, I think there is such a thing as passive income, but it's not but it's not the passive income everybody thinks or strives to achieve. That doesn't exist. It's
you first have to be active.
You have to be very active, sacrifice a lot, and then you can reap the rewards later on. Kind of like if you were to do property rental, you have to work your arse off for years to be able to pay off that property. You could probably put down a deposit, rent it out, and have the rent pay off the deposit, and just rinse and repeat. But that's still a lot of work you have to do in the beginning. You still have to make sure that the tenants stay. So if someone leaves, you have enough to pay off the mortgage each month.
Would you consider someone who buys a property? Okay, I say buy, I mean get a mortgage from a bank on a property and then rents it out as a buy-to-let business. Would you call that person an entrepreneur?
I think it depends.
I mean, you're taking a risk.
You are taking a risk. It depends. It's
generating an income.
You are generating. It's a very calculated risk. It's like a risk ratio, like how risky it is.
So maybe there is a science to that kind of business.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of common sense, really. Like, you're not going to buy a property if you know you can't afford it. you would only buy a property.
Then again, I would say that most people actually do, because hardly anyone can afford to buy a property, which is why we go to a bank to get a loan, and we use whatever savings we have. But then we think that we own the house, but we don't. The bank owns it for 20 or 30 years, and then you might even struggle to pay for it.
Then that's just bad financial decisions.
And there would be a lot of wealthy, successful people, entrepreneurs, who would probably tell you that property is not necessarily a great thing to invest in.
Well, it depends what you do with it. It could either be an asset or a liability. If you're buying it for yourself, then it's a liability because it's just expenses each month. Yeah. If you're buying it to rent it out, then yeah, that's an asset.
Because you just said that now, out of curiosity, have you been reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
No, I haven't yet.
Because this is exactly what's said in the book. This is one of the core ideas of that book. So you haven't read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, because you've used those terms specifically, that if you buy a house for yourself, it's a liability, but if you rent it out, it's an asset. No, this is seriously the general core of the book. I'm surprised you haven't read it.
No, to me that's just common sense.
Yeah. Because I know you did want to read the book. I thought you might have been reading it.
No, I haven't read it.
Right, this is such a big coincidence.
It's just to me it's common sense. If you break it all down,
you
either have money coming in and money going out. It's binary.
It's like with a car as well. I mean, the amount of times I've heard
for me, my car is a liability because it's just money going out. Exactly, I'm not gaining any value from it except coming to here and working. But I could do what I'm doing at home. So is it really an asset? No, it's not. Because
what would you say to someone who buys a car or is thinking of buying a car and says, this is a great investment because it's going to help me every day get to work and get around, it's going to save me time, and then I can always sell it maybe in a couple of years for a similar price. If I might lose a little bit, but then again, it's going to help my life a lot, it's with the time aspect and getting from place to place, and just quality of life will go up. What would you say to someone like that who says that?
I think it's because you're saying like quality of life and accessibility,
which is
making
I'm saying quality. They haven't said quality of life. I'm saying quality of life because that's what it sounds like they're selling, or in a sense of trying to defend by saying this is a great investment because it's going to up my quality of life by saving
quality
time.
Of life isn't necessarily income, monetary income. If that car isn't bringing you in any income, then it's still a liability. Yeah, it'll help you get to work, but you could get a bus, ride a bicycle, which
those things take longer though. You could be wasting a lot of time just traveling. When it might take you 15 minutes to get to work, and instead, if you take a bus, it could take you an hour and a half, let's say. And then 3 hours a day going there and back.
But it's also
seems like a good investment to a lot of people. If you
it may seem like an investment, but it's still. The way I'm looking at it is, if you can get to work without having to pay for a car, it's still a liability because that is money you didn't have to spend. Yeah, sure, it'll be a lot more convenient.
You mean even taking a bus?
Yeah. I mean, it's
I didn't think about it like that. That makes sense. Yeah.
Taking a bus is still somewhat of a liability, but getting the bus every day or go driving, but you have to.
Here though, we're saying that any expense now is a liability, so buying food from the supermarket is a liability. The fact that we need to eat is a liability.
No, I think that's taking it a step too far. But keeping it in terms of business, a car. Okay, if you were a taxi driver or wanted to become a taxi or an Uber driver, a car would be an asset because you need a car to make money.
Exactly, yeah.
But you don't need a car to go to a 9 to 5. That's the differentiator.
Unless
if you are actively
absolutely in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, if you're absolutely in the middle of nowhere, then you could probably let that slide. But if that car is not actively making you money, then it's just a liability.
A lot of things you have to pay for, the MOT, all the taxes, insurance, maintenance, and then if you go maybe 5-10 miles kilometers above the speed limit, then you get maybe speeding fines or parking fines. Let's say even if you follow the law, the rules and everything, you might make a mistake and get huge parking fines or get towed away just by parking in the wrong place, and then you waste a lot of time just looking for parking.
That's why, to me, a car, unless you're actually using it to make money, it's a liability. But it's all about perspective as well. You have to weigh up the pros and cons of having a car. Like if you are in a busy city, you don't really need a car if you can have public transport a minute's walk away. But if you're living in the countryside, then a car may be handy. So it's putting into perspective of each person's situation as well.
This is why I rent cars. I've never bought a car. I bought a motorbike once for a year, but I rent cars generally because a lot of the expenses and maintenance and insurance, pretty much everything is just taken care of by the rent-a-car company. And I mean, having said all this, even though I say my opinion is better to rent one than to own one, because of all those things, I still love having a car because for pleasure purposes, I mean, you can go anywhere.
But with cars, can't you? Because I know I think my cousin did it. Can't you like do rent to buy for a car? Or
you mean financing one?
Yeah, financing a car.
Yeah, that's quite common these days now. Instead of putting cash down, let's say 10, 15, 20 grand on a car, now you just put down 100, 200 a month. And you just pay it off a month. But I've never done that, so I'm not sure if you need to put down a deposit as well. I think they just check your credit. They check your credit history, and then but you never own the car. It's essentially like leasing the car. Or paying it off over a number of years. It's getting a mortgage on a car, basically. But whether there's a deposit or not, I'm not really sure about that.
But isn't there deposits on rentals?
On rentals of, you mean rent-a-car? No, actually, no. So, the last car that I got, I went with my debit card. It was 100 and something for a week. Just paid that. Money was taken out of my debit card. Everything included, full insurance. Any scratches, any accident, anything happens, is covered. I don't need to worry about anything. I just take it out, drive, take it back on a full tank. Peace of mind. That's for me the best thing. Whenever I need a car, I just go and get one. But I don't have one all the time. I don't need to worry about parking. If someone, if I leave it outside the house, I'm not using it. Is someone going to steal it? Is someone gonna
so that's a bit paranoid.
Someone going to, crash into it. I have one colleague in England who has had their car crashed into outside their house 3 times.
Really?
And every single time it was when they were on holiday.
Oh God, that is just bad luck.
It's quite Now
that is where you use luck.
And one of them is if I still have this video, I think one of the colleagues posted it on YouTube, but the car was going about really slowly, about 6 miles per hour or something, just bumped the corner of the car like that, boom, and then the car flipped over. And it was caught on CCTV by the supermarket next door. Oh God. But look, I mean, I guess it would be nice to have a car, but if I was going to buy a car, I'd probably want it to be a really, really nice one, like the safety car in Formula 1. That Mercedes with the orange lights on top, or something, really like a proper sports car, Ferrari, Lamborghini or something. But
see, to me that's a bad financial decision right there. There's no
keep it and store it in a garage. Okay, well, why do you think people do that then? Why do people collect cars? Is it because of passion? It's not because they're I believe there are people out there who buy cars, classic cars, to make a profit, to make money, because especially classic cars, they go up in value.
Oh yeah, they go up in value. I think the people that collect them don't do it to up their value. They do it for the sake of doing it. Unless you're planning on selling those cars later on. I think it's just to fill an insecurity. They feel them. Ooh. I feel it's just a need to have something they can show off, or something that fulfills them. So my personal opinion is, it's a void in their life that they're trying to fill.
This is quite deep.
But
As
yeah,
in,
this is because I'm quite a minimalist. I don't find any sentimental value in objects. I don't need a lot of objects. So I like keeping things very simple.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing of collecting stuff is just.
What about if the purpose is to make a profit? Let's say in a few years.
Then I can justify it. But if it's just to have it there collecting dust, why? Why do you need it?
I guess because it looks great, you can show it off. But then it comes to the insecurity. I mean, I don't want to get to, I'd rather think of the positive side of it. I mean, some of these cars are, there's a some of them have a history, especially if they were maybe on a movie set, they're using a film or something like that, and then you own it, and then you have something. It's why people buy art, but
yeah, but even then, do you really need it?
Well, of course not. You don't need it.
Yeah.
We don't need anything apart from just food and a place to stay warm for the night. That's the only thing we need, and we don't need anything else.
Yeah. So
why do we have other things? Why do we have this table here? These plants here?
Oh, because it makes life easier. But I think It also comes down to objects that solve problems versus objects that don't solve.
In that sense, no, I do see where you're coming from. And
a nice picture doesn't solve any problems.
Yeah.
It, maybe the wall will look a bit bare, but that isn't technically a problem.
Yeah. Although if we did have a painting here or a picture, I mean, it would make.
Oh yeah, it'll make it look nicer, but that's not.
And we'll probably will do that, won't we?
I think eventually. Yeah. I mean, we've been changing filming locations.
Yeah.
So next week it's probably going to look a bit different.
Yeah. We recorded episode 2 before this one.
Yeah. Well, I actually recorded episode 1 and 2, but we didn't like how episode 1 turned out, so we're doing this one all over again.
This is now episode 1.
Yeah. And so that's why next week it's going to look different, and the week after that it's going to look different.
Yeah.
And so that's just about it, really. I think we have time for.
To sum up, really, I mean, do you think being an entrepreneur is worth it?
I think it comes down to: are you a risk taker? If you don't like taking risks, then it's not worth it. It's not for you.
What about if someone doesn't know whether they're a risk taker or not because they haven't taken risks before, but maybe they might.
If they haven't
with that, okay, I see what you're gonna. Yeah, go on.
If they haven't taken risks, then they're just not entrepreneurs from the get-go. If you want to take risks, then you have the entrepreneur mindset, but that doesn't make you an entrepreneur.
Would there be? So let's say for everyone who's listening and watching, and wondering what kind of, how can I tell if I'm an entrepreneur or I might be a good entrepreneur in the future, and it's whether you, and identifying that or answering that is whether you've taken risks or not. What kind of risks perhaps can someone look into in their past and go, oh yeah, I did that thing and that was a bit of a risk?
I think it's getting outside of your comfort zone. Life really begins outside of your comfort zone. The saying goes. I think entrepreneurship as well, you're not going to be an entrepreneur or achieve big goals if you're inside your bubble. So entrepreneurship is all about doing something that, doing something new, challenging yourself to do something greater than personal gain. It's, entrepreneurship is a lot of things.
I was just wondering, actually. Let's say someone. Okay, I organised a TEDx event once, right? And there were a few people who said, "Oh, you're a bit of an entrepreneur, aren't you?" But then at the time I was thinking, well, it's not really a business I'm setting up. I'm building a team, organising something over a period of a few months, not really taking much of a financial risk, but doing a lot of sales, organising this and that, and trying to make things work, spending a lot of time doing it so that an event can happen.
Yeah, but it's still a venture. You set you didn't have to do it.
Yeah.
So I think that's also like part of the entrepreneurship is doing something that you don't necessarily have to do. You do it because you want to achieve a goal.
Yeah.
You wanted it. Why did he do it in the first place?
It would have been it was really cool to do thing to do. Honestly though, there was a theme that I wanted to explore: painting humanity, explore society and new ideas. And so we invited some speakers based around that. But it would have been a really cool thing to do, and I think my university where it was hosted would have benefited from that. And there's been a legacy that has been left there. They're still organising now every year. But that's generally the thing.
So
there's nothing really too deep about it. It was more, I thought it'd be a great thing to do.
How you look at it.
I didn't think about it in the sense of, oh yeah, this is going to make lots of money, or this is going to be a huge thing. It wasn't anything like that, which is why.
But is entrepreneurship just about making money?
We spoke about money, happiness, and business, and that. Well, I mean, I said that I don't think you can get into business if you're not focused on money, but perhaps you can be an entrepreneur and not get into business.
Maybe, because the way I see it is that from doing it, you did gain something. You gained that legacy.
That is true. That is true. I mean, I am associated with that.
You have something. Yeah. You have that to your name now, and that's going to be there for the rest of your life, and that's something true. You can show and prove. So that's
true. And to be honest, I think I probably did think about that at the time a little bit. Yeah.
It's not every day someone sets up a TEDx.
Yeah.
Convention thing.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, this is Yusuf, the guy who did TEDx Loughborough. Yeah. That's very true.
So the gain isn't necessarily financial, but it's still a gain for you. It's still an entrepreneurial venture, in my opinion.
So could we say then that society needs entrepreneurs? So we need entrepreneurs, but you don't necessarily need to start a business. We need entrepreneurs to start new ventures, to explore, to innovate, make new things, build new opportunities for others.
Yeah, but that's more along the lines of, like you said, was it intrapreneurs?
Well, intrapreneur is someone who works inside a company already.
Yeah, so
and does something within the company.
But innovative people.
Yeah, but with the example of, let's say, the TEDx event, or someone maybe who starts a charity, let's say, or is
it's still being an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So really, yeah.
But it does come down to whether it's personal gain you're looking for, or whether you're aspiring to achieve something greater than yourself, or than personal gain.
What's the importance of that? Why do you differentiate between personal gain versus something bigger than yourself? As in,
I think
if it was for personal gain, what would you call that? And then if something is bigger than yourself, what would you call that?
I think they're both along the lines of entrepreneurship, but to me one makes more sense to do. The trying to aspire to something greater than yourself, something that helps other people, something that solves a problem other than making money. I think just making money is something a wantrepreneur does. So there's that line between wantrepreneur and an actual entrepreneur.
Wantrepreneur, that's a good term.
Wantrepreneur is someone that
wannabe entrepreneur. Yeah,
wannabe entrepreneur, someone that managed to sell 10 t-shirts on eBay and thinks that they're balling because they've made 100.
Anyone listening though, if you have sold 10 t-shirts on eBay, don't stop.
Keep going.
I mean, good job. Keep going.
Yeah.
we're not putting you down or anything.
No, but I think This is an interesting question, I think. When do you get to... First of all, do you think you should ever call yourself an entrepreneur? And
This is so important.
and if so, when do you get to call yourself an entrepreneur?
This is so important, yeah. The whole word entrepreneur, I really don't even want to think about it. I really don't want to think about it. There are okay, again, the valuetainment Patrick. I mean, he has a T-shirt that says "I am an entrepreneur," big in capital letters, and he talks about entrepreneurship all the time.
Yeah.
The thing is, I guess it's different for him because he's built $100 million. Well, he's worth $100 million. He's built a big business.
So he does have bragging rights.
The thing is, it's not about that though. It's the fact that he has now become a teacher and he has a channel specifically for inspiring new entrepreneurs. So he can use the term a lot.
Yeah.
But if you are someone who's starting a business, I don't think it's generally good to think and call yourself or identify as, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Look at me. I'm an entrepreneur. This and that.
I think if you're using the word entrepreneur for bragging rights, you're an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs don't think about the label; they think about their goals, what they want to achieve.
Yeah.
So that's why I said the analogy of entrepreneur selling 10 T-shirts and then think you've made it.
Yeah.
If you think you're an entrepreneur for doing that, you've shown initiative.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily becoming an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur just puts in the hard work. They maybe they do think about the label, but their priority is achieving their goals or making money or making their venture work, and less about gaining the bragging rights of calling themselves an entrepreneur.
Yeah. I once had the word entrepreneur on my profile on one of my social medias on my website. I can't remember, but I think it was there maybe a few months, but then I took it off because I just I thought maybe I took it off because I thought that I had not reached the level that I wanted to achieve. A mixture of that and also of what I just said, which is, don't necessarily call yourself an entrepreneur for bragging rights. Like you were saying as well. Don't think about it too much. If just focus on whatever it is you're doing. Yeah. And
that's I think another, which is just, this topic could go on and on.
Yeah.
But another thing is, like, don't think about labels. Don't care about what people think. Just. Can I say that just think about yourself, but think about your goals and what you want to achieve. Yeah. Just that you don't have to think about what any other people think.
Yeah. So in summary then, for this episode, what's an entrepreneur? Who cares?
Yeah. It's just someone that achieves their goals in a financial sense,
okay, we've gone through quite financial. We're talking about money again, but
it's someone that really just shows initiative and sets
innovates. Innovative, and you're taking risks.
Yeah, it's just a combination of a lot of things.
Yeah, in
the business world,
or the non-business world. So just society, really. Yeah, you're someone who you start something new, you innovate, you do something inspiring, or create something of value to society, perhaps. Then maybe you are an entrepreneur. But if it doesn't really matter whether you are or not, as long as you're doing something of value.
Yeah, as long as you are providing value to others, I think that's the main thing, the most important thing. With business, it's all about providing something that others don't have and they either want or need. So I think once you can provide something that people want, then I think you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah, that's quite a nice thing, actually. Yeah, that's brilliant.
And I think we should leave it at that for this episode.
Let's leave it there.
Yes, it was nice talking to you, and I'll see you next week.
Cool. Cheers talking to you, Joel. See ya.